If I were to give just one tip for a short approach swing, it would be that the hands should move forward. Before we start this lesson, I want to mention that this video will use the 56-degree wedge as an example for short approach shots. This information is equally applicable to full swings with longer clubs, so I believe it will be helpful if you watch until the end. Looking back my beginner days, I found I had more issues hitting the ground before the ball or topping the ball during short approach shots a wedge than full swings. Looking back now, the reason was the misconception that the ball must always be placed on the right foot for wedge shots. This video is for those who, like me at the time, are still struggling with frequent mishits such as hitting behind the ball or topping it. If you do not release the club, you will top the ball, and if your hands or body move behind the ball, you will hit behind it. Now, I will solve this problem while presenting the basic principles of a short swing. The first point is weight. Weight should be concentrated on the foot towards the target. If it were a rule to hit the ball while standing on one foot, most golfers would strike the ball more accurately than they do now. If I stand like this and swing without any strain, hitting the ball will feel much easier than expected. I will ignore the distance and try hitting the ball while standing only on my left foot. However, while standing on one leg may improve accuracy in hitting the ball, it could be detrimental in terms of distance. For the club to exert strong centrifugal force, the support must be sturdy. That is why having two strong legs is fundamental, rather than relying on one accurate leg. However, in a short distance swing, concentrating your weight on one leg will be more advantageous in many ways, as long distances are not needed. The leg you should choose is the one towards the target. You need to start and finish the swing with most of your weight on the left foot. The second point is the hands. The hands should move forward. This part is the highlight of the video. In my beginner days, I thought the cause of my fat shots was due to my wrists releasing instead of pulling in. However, the release of the wrists is a result, not the cause. No matter how hard I tried to pull my hands back, I simply couldn't execute the movement. The reason was the belief that in wedge shots, the ball should always be placed on the right foot. In other words, the ball was always positioned at the back. During my beginner days, I only knew that for short approach shots with a wedge, the ball should always be placed on the right foot. Moreover, even when placing the ball behind or in front of the right foot, I still hit behind the ball, so I couldn't even consider placing the ball on the left foot. However, if you actually place the ball on the left foot like this and hit it, you may end up hitting behind the ball, but the motion of coming through from behind will hardly occur. Instead, it will more likely create a natural and typical form where you appropriately pull back and then release. Why is that? It is due to our instincts. We have an instinct to lift the ball from behind. Therefore, when the ball is placed on the right foot, it leads to more movement as you try to lift it from behind, releasing the cocking motion as you swing. Therefore, if you place the ball on the left foot, it will feel more natural and comfortable, since it will still be behind the ball in relation to the foot towards the target. This is a reflection of my past self, and perhaps it could be your current self as well. First, place the ball on the right foot. And you set up further back than the ball placed behind you, if you set up this way, your balance will already be disrupted, making it difficult to hit the ball well. Alternatively, I stand straight, but move back when hitting the ball to release the club and try to lift the ball. You lift the ball, you might hit behind it. And if you try to solve this by pulling your hands back, the club will get stuck, resulting in a topping shot. First, hit the ground. It doesn't matter where you hit. Just hold the club and try to drop it onto the ground using your wrist snap. If you use a wrist snap to hit the ground like this, you will feel a light impact. At this moment, our hands should bounce towards the target direction along with the impact. Many people change the position of the club and hands while trying to release the club. However, this is not releasing the club. It is pulling the club pad towards the target. This is the form I want. I release the club, head using a wrist snap, just like I did earlier, right? And you are dropping the club pad anywhere on the ground, right? Then, when the impact comes, the hands bounce forward. This is how it works. The club is released towards the ground, and then the hands bounce towards the target. To your eyes, it may seem like I just demonstrated pulling in with my wrist. However, I only released the club head towards the ground and guided my hands forward. It is clear that I released it starting from the head. When you release the head and let it go, it will fall to the ground. And with that impact, the hands will spring forward. This means that they do not spring backward. Shift your weight to your left foot, release the head, and direct your hands forward. Instead of pulling it in, release the head, and let the hands move forward. It moves forward. Clearly, the head is released using the wrist snap. I will express it briefly as well. When the head is released and hits the ground, the hands bounce towards the target with that impact. It does not bounce in the opposite direction of the target. If I throw the ball from here, it will bounce this way. At least it won't bounce back this way. Similarly, when I throw this club head down towards the ground, the whole thing should bounce towards the target. From the front view, it may seem like I am pulling my hands back, but I am actually releasing the club head downwards and guiding my hands forward with the impact. The hands should move forward. You should not pull the club back as if the hands are moving backward. This does not mean that the club has been released. I pulled the club head to the left. I will release the club head towards the ground and guide the hands forward. The third is the trajectory. You need to decide whether to hit a high trajectory or a low trajectory. If you do not make a decision, it will be difficult to maintain your position tightly throughout the swing. Even when using a single club, you should always have a clear plan for each shot. This is because avoiding ambiguous decisions is key to achieving better strikes. Even if the club is a 56-degree wedge, you can hit low shots or higher ones. If you want to send the ball high, you should set up behind the ball. If you want to hit it low, you should set up in front of the ball. And once you have decided, regardless of the trajectory, you should keep your weight on the foot towards the target and let your hands move forward. To show you in more detail from the front, a high trajectory involves standing to the right of the ball and shifting your weight to the left. It means releasing the club head towards the ball and having the hands spring forward. And for a low trajectory, I stand to the left of the ball or place the ball on the right side, meaning I am standing to the left of the ball. The weight is evenly distributed on the left foot, and the club is pulled towards the ball on the right side using a wrist snap. The club is released, and the hands continue to move forward. The mistake you sometimes make with snake shots around the green, where you hit the top of the ball and it goes over the green, is not caused by lifting your body or head. That is not the cause. It is a phenomenon and a result. Additionally, the release of the cocking is not the direct cause of hitting behind the ball. It is also a result. It is not that it was released because it was released. The wrist that releases from behind is the instinct to want to be behind the ball. Deciding whether I should be in front of or behind the ball, and when I release the club from that position, my hands naturally spring forward upon hitting the ground. This is about practicing by hitting the ground in this way. Please try applying this from the wedge to the driver. And feel free to leave any questions in the comments. Thank you.